They're calling on the Supreme Court to look into one judge in New Orleans. That person handling a large number of judge trials, not using a jury to render a verdict.
WDSU investigator Travers Mackle digs deeper into the data to show you why this one judge finds almost 80% of people not guilty in trials she handles herself without a jury, and how some have an issue with that. Here's the story, Judge and Jury.
The marks on the victim's neck are evident.
All right, that's all I need. All right, like I said, he's gonna be charged.
This is police body cam video from what officers say is a domestic abuse battery. The suspect arrested in 2023.
The only thing I did was when she was screaming, I put my hands on her mouth so she doesn't scream.
The man charged with domestic abuse battery involving strangulation and domestic abuse child endangerment, as well as simple battery. But in April of this year, the suspect was found not guilty on 2 felony crimes, only guilty of simple battery. But it wasn't a jury that rendered that verdict. It was a judge, Judge Nandy Campbell, who records show performed 36 judge trials last year alone.
She was a criminal defense attorney, and she was elected to a judge on a progressive platform.
And Campbell has done the lion's share of judge trials at criminal court, 40%, according to the Metropolitan Crime Commission, far outpacing all of her colleagues. A judge trial happens when a criminal defendant waives their right to go before a jury and allows the judge to render a verdict on the case. No jury of 12, just a judge. Criminal cases are randomly allotted at court to different judges, and any judge can handle a judge trial if one is requested, but very few do.
Criminal defense attorneys are very knowledgeable about the mindset of the judges.
Raphael Goyeneche runs the Metropolitan Crime Commission. Each year, the group ranks judges in New Orleans. This year, Campbell came out first, noted for moving her docket and running an efficient courtroom. But the number of judge trials and percentage of not guilty verdicts rendered stick out to the MCC. Their records show Campbell did 48 judge trials in the last 3 years. 38 of those cases ended in not guilty verdicts.
Her acquittal rate was 79% over all of the cases that she tried. I took a look at crimes of violence. So these are going to be felony crimes of violence. Her acquittal rate on felony crimes of violence was 93%.
Here's another example. This video shows an inmate struggling with guards at the jail in Mid-City before they remove what appears to be a large blade-like object from his pants. Here it is. He was charged with bringing contraband into the jail, which has struggled with inmate violence. That suspect and his lawyer choosing a judge trial before Nandy Campbell. And records show in April, Judge Campbell found him not guilty.
What criminal defense attorneys are doing, they're making decisions that are in the best interest of their client. They're not necessarily, looking for justice. Their job is to get the best deal, the best outcome for their clients. And these numbers represent to me that the criminal defense bar recognizes that in Judge Campbell's section of court, the odds are that if you opt for a judge trial, you're going to have a better outcome than if you opt for a jury trial.
We repeatedly asked Judge Campbell for a comment on these numbers. She respectfully declined through a courthouse spokesperson.
Her number stands out.
Laura Canizero Rodriguez, a former prosecutor in New Orleans.
Just math alone would say that this is favorable to criminal defendants. I mean, without any opinion factoring into it, just statistically speaking, defendants fare way better in this section of court than in any other section of court.
The daughter of the former district attorney, she led a citizens' effort last year to get lawmakers in Baton Rouge and voters across Louisiana to change the makeup of the Supreme Court Commission that oversees judges and what they do on the bench. The Judicial Commission now has 5 civilian members to review judges' behavior.
I think any outliers like this, any statistics that are very, very different from the norm should get the attention of the legislature.
State Senator Jay Morris authored the legislation that became law.
If it appears that a judge is not following the law, but is rather making decisions based upon political philosophy or things of that nature, or social philosophy, then it needs to be looked into.
Again, Judge Campbell not violating any laws. And it is the right of every defendant to be able to waive a jury and request a judge trial, which the MCC says is happening a lot before Judge Campbell.
The defense bar know who the soft touches are on the bench.
Reporting in New Orleans, I'm Travers Mackle, WDSU News.
And the DA's office responding by saying, quote, "We are unable to comment at this time other than to say that our lawyers work very hard to present the best case possible with all evidence available in every section of court," end quote.